so far apart in so many ways. Please don't go, I got something to say. There's sometimes seems I don't know you, but there are sometimes it's too good to be true. Still getting tired, but we come a long way. Please don't go, I got something to say. Hi, I'm Mickey McGuire. This is Mickey McGuire Music. I'm doing a review right here of the Epiphone Gibson collaboration, the ES355 custom shop collaboration. This guitar is amazing. First off, you just heard a little sample right here. Now I'm on the neck pickup. I'm going to turn it to the middle here. Now I'm going to turn it to the bridge pickup. I have to tell you that this guitar really sounds incredible. I have had 335, I've had the Epiphone Dot, I've had a Gretsch Electromatic country club guitar. I grew up actually playing music. My mother was a contract songwriter with a national contract, and we had people, professional musicians, in and out of our house all the time. From the time I was like 10 years old to adult age, I played guitar with a lot of different people who were well-known country artists, really phenomenal musicians. So I played a lot of different types of music. I played jazz stuff, I played country, I played rockabilly, I played blues, I played rock and roll. And I've had everything from Les Paul guitars. I had a 59 reissue, for example. I had the Les Paul Firebrand that I used on stage around 1980 when that thing was released. The first couple hundred of them had branded in the headstock the Gibson logo. I had one of those. Like an idiot, I sold it. You know, I traded it in, actually got a Washburn Ivory Eagle double cutaway that was an ivory semi-transparent stain, gold trim and hardware. Sounded really good, but I'd have been better off keeping the Firebrand, even though the Ivory Eagle today is probably worth more than the Firebrand as far as collectability, because Washburn's not producing guitars like that anymore. But I will say this, I've gone through a lot of different instruments. This is one I want to keep. Now, I had recently a modern Gretsch, okay, and it was an Electromatic, but it was beautiful, absolutely magnificent looking. I don't think the pickups were nearly as good as the original pickups were with the custom humbuckers that they had back years ago. The other thing is that the guitar itself had terrible tuners. I replaced them with Gretsch, or with, I replaced them with Grover tunamatics, and that was much, much nicer. it held tune really well at that point. On the break-in period that I put in that one, it really sounded fantastic at that point. But this thing really, really sounds amazing. Now, I had pro-bucker pickups in a Gibson guitar, and I liked it, but these are even nicer. These are the custom buckers that you get from the custom shop Les Pauls that are selling in like the $6,000 range. These pickups are $289 each when you buy them separately, and if you buy them together in a set, they're $499 just for the pickups, 500 bucks. This guitar is selling at $1299. Okay, so at $1299, almost half that price is in the pickups. The electronics on this are all USA made. The pickups are Nashville, Tennessee made pickups. These guitars are an incredible value. Now, the body of this thing is perfect. I like the satin finish. I really do. I'm a professional photographer. I've photographed I don't know how many musicians and musical instruments. I published Ukulele Player magazine, and I did reviews of guitars and ukuleles like crazy, including mandolins and some other things too, along with the ukuleles. And I'll tell you that from a photographer point of view, a satin guitar is much easier to photograph because the glare that you get on high gloss finishes. And photographing Sony artists, you're not allowed to actually photograph an artist on stage after the third song. That's a Sony thing. It's a requirement, and basically it's because they want everything to look great, and the guitars look terrible with a gloss finish on stage after 3 or 4 songs because they're smattered with fingerprints, perspiration, and everything else. If you ever see B.B. King on stage, you'll understand. Now, those lights are hot, and B.B. King will perspire like crazy under the lights. But B.B. King was an amazing artist. I don't think there's anyone out there who has conquered phrasing in jazz and blues like B.B. King. I mean, the guy is incredible, and that makes a huge difference. And that's what I try to emulate, that kind of phrasing when I'm playing guitar. And it really makes a difference when you're playing leads a lot of times. I don't consider myself a lead player. This guitar here is because it's just amazing for blues and jazz kind of tone. It's an incredible guitar, really. And that's why at this price, it's fantastic. It comes with a beautiful case, a hard shell case. Now, on the guitar, on the back of the headstock, there's a double diamond kind of, it's indented in there, and that is the logo of the Epiphone Gibson Custom Shop collaboration. So when you see that on the headstock, the pickups that are on here are the custom bucker pickups, and that is custom shop thing. So the case itself is worth quite a chunk of money, in addition to what the guitar is worth. The body of this is coming from China, but very, very strict quality control. The pickups are great, but also the frets, which would be the first thing I'd be suspicious of having a flaw somewhere. These are perfect. They're absolutely perfect. I did have a little intonation issue on the G string on this, and we used to joke with guitars years ago about G string trouble. But I can tell you that with a lot of electric guitars, that's not an unusual problem, and it needed a bit of tweaking, but I took care of it. Sounds great. Highly satisfied with the sound of the guitar, with the feel of the guitar, the playability of the guitar. It's just an incredible guitar. The action is fantastic on it, and like I said, all the way up the neck, it's perfect. Now, one of the things I always try to do is check the intonation on the guitar. I'm a stickler for it because I like to be in key, and I have perfect pitch. I can hear when something's off. It'll drive me nuts. So when I pick up a guitar like this, one of the first things I'll do is try to play something like a syncopated rhythm, Doobie Brothers. If I can listen to the music and it sounds great, or Long Train Running, I'll play up and down the neck, and if it sounds really fantastic, it plays beautifully, the action is great, and the intonation is right, I definitely am interested in that guitar. And I have bought guitars with a perfect neck, just because the neck was perfect, and keep them that way for years. Now I will say I use lighter gauge strings on a lot of guitars. I switch these strings from 10s to 9s, and then I switch them back to 10s. And I'll tell you why. I believe that a lot of times with me, I picked this up from playing with some jazz guys years ago. Instead of bending strings up and down the neck, I have a habit of sliding up and down the neck a lot of times instead of bending a string. And I'll even slide up and back down. With lighter strings, they tend to go out of tune when you do that. It's almost like bending them. They resist a little bit. With 10s, they don't do that. With 9s, they do. I can't even fathom the idea of using 8s, and I know they're popular with a lot of guys who are jamming away and doing a lot of string bending and stuff. So I do more what the jazz guys do, and they do that because it stays in tune better. That's the reason a lot of jazz players don't bend strings much, or when they do, it's rare. Some of those guys are really fantastic that way, and I picked it up a long time ago as a habit, especially when I play acoustic guitar. If I do any kind of little lead licks, a lot of times they're slides. At any rate, you can hear the tuning is great on this thing. I'll just say this. If you're looking for a great guitar that can give you some rock sound if you want it, or rockabilly, think of Stray Cats, something along that line. Setzer's fantastic. This guitar is made with a laminated body. That means dimensional stability. So it's poplar and maple together, okay? It has an arched body. It's a semi-hollow body. There is a spruce piece of wood going down to the middle of this, and the pickups are mounted to that. That gives it better resonance, less likelihood of any kind of feedback. And in order for me to get feedback with this, I have to crank the amp. And the amp, by the way, that this is going through right now is a Line 6 Catalyst. I do have a Fender 100-watt 212 Champion that I've played for some of the recordings. And the reason I'm going to sell it basically is it's 40 pounds. The Catalyst is 25 pounds and has a single 12-inch speaker, so it still sounds fantastic. But I will be unloading the Champion. The Champion sounds great. I mean, Fender, nobody does Fender like Fender. Plain and simple. Okay? So, at any rate, this is a great pairing for a Fender amp. If I were to buy another Fender at this point, it would be a Tone Master, because they're lighter than what I have, and they would sound fantastic with something like this, I have to tell you. At any rate, this guitar, highly recommend. The pickups, like I said, are the custom buckers. The electronics are Gibson USA electronics. These are really great representation of the 1959 ES355 reissue. Okay, this is the ES355 reissue. Fantastic, great guitar. I love it. I highly recommend it. I'm Mickey McGuire, Mickey McGuire Music. Thanks for watching.